win. Okay, very exciting day today, unique in the fact that the last signing day used to be the biggest one. Now it's really more about transfers. We're very excited about the one signing we had in high school, Andrew Harris, Under Armour All-American, hometown hero. He's a priority for our staff, trying to keep our top players home, building this thing the right way, and that is a huge gift for us. He's a wonderful player. He's a wonderful person. Very, very talented. So we're very excited to keep him home. Transfers, we've got 10, and we're excited about every one of them. And you know, we really took transfers to fill needs. We're still building this thing the right way with high school players. You know, with our foundation, and when we have needs, we'll go in the portal. And like I've said before, this is a great place for transfers, and transfers have been very successful in the past, and so we're very excited about them. We have 3 from the SEC, 2 from the Pac-12, 1 from the AAC. First one is Fred Davis, a defensive back. I actually recruited him out of high school. Very, very talented. Has played a lot of football. We're very excited about bringing him. He was from Trinity Christian Academy, and then he transferred from Clemson. You'll hear from him in just a minute. Amari Kite is a lineman that I recruited extremely hard at the last school that I was at. I know everything about him. You know, he transferred from Alabama, and you know, I think you know, he has the ability to play right tackle, left tackle. Very, very talented young man. Very excited about him. You know, he's won a national championship. Our long snapper, Gage King. You know, we felt like he was one of the best in the country. Obviously, we had, what in my opinion, the best last year, but really excited about him. He's a big guy. He covers kicks extremely well. A lot of experience too. Wide receiver Chauncey Magwood, very good with the ball in his hands. Very smart, very strong. We're going to have him for a few years. We're very excited about what he can bring. He's from Leesburg, Georgia. Marcellus Marshall, an offensive lineman, first team all-conference at Kent State. Very impressed with him. He was really one of Coach Hand's priorities, along with Kite. I mean, those two guys we zeroed in. We got them both. This guy has played a lot of football. He's got great upside. Very, very athletic, and we're very excited about him. And he's got multiple years also. Another defensive back to Jordan Mask. From Texas State. You turn the film on, he jumps off the film. I mean, you know, he is a very physical guy. He's played a lot of football, a lot of experience, and that was an area that we needed to shore up. So we're very excited about him. He's from Texarkana, Arkansas. Drake Metcalf just signed with us, offensive lineman, transferred from Stanford. He's got a great motor. You know, he won't be here until May, but very excited about him. You know, you talk about he jumps off the film, whether he's playing center or whether he's playing guard. Just a phenomenal player in a great family. Bula Smith, a center. He is originally from Hawaii. He played at Fresno State. He was all conference, 31 starts. You know, a guy that really, when you turn on the film, what jumps out is his athleticism. And won a conference championship. He knows what it's like to do that, so we're very excited about him. Trent Whittemore, wide receiver from Gainesville. He's a guy that I actually saw play when he was a junior. I was recruiting another player. Got a chance to watch him play quarterback when he was a junior. He also started safety that night, and I think he was punting. And so his dad actually played here with Coach Henshaw, one of the greats, so we're very excited about him. You're talking about a guy that's played in some big-time games, and they played extremely well. So Trent, you'll hear from him in just a minute. Also, Jairo Wilson, a defensive back that we know a lot about. Obviously, when we played him this year, he was the conference defensive player of the week after we played him. You know, he had a pick, I think a fumble, and he was everywhere. And he's a real player. We're very excited about him. You'll get a chance to hear from him. He transferred from East Carolina with that. So, you know, overall, like I said, I think if you look at the average ranking for high school players, I think we're number 30 or right around, a little bit better than that. So very excited. I really, hats off to our staff. They did a super job. with our high school guys. They've done a great job with the transfer guys that we have in. You'll hear from just a minute. And really lastly, I just really want to encourage our donors to really help us with the collective. The new age of college football, if we want to continue to recruit at a high level, we're going to need their help with that, and to keep our top players here. So that's a big part of college football. The collective's called the Kingdom, so I really encourage our donors to help us with that. And very excited. I mean, this is a big day for us. All signing days from a head coach's standpoint. You get to look at the future, what the future looks like, and then you saw the Big 12 schedule come out yesterday. That was a very exciting time, and I know our players are. We had a team meeting today, and you can just feel it. And I've been real blessed to be at places when we won the whole thing, and we won championships, so I know what it looks like and feels like. And one thing I can tell you is just from a talent base with the guys we have here, we'll have a chance. So that's really exciting from a coach's standpoint with that. Questions?
Obviously, it was an interesting recruitment with the Harris twins. They were initially both committed to UCF. You get one of them, Andrew. Just what can you share about that process, and how excited are you about getting the one?
Yeah, I mean, we're very, very excited about Andrew. You're talking about a phenomenal player, unbelievably talented, played extremely well in the Under Armour game, and he's a real player, great person. Like I said, hometown hero. So that's big for us in a lot of different ways.
Coach, what's the dynamic like when a transfer contacts you, wants to rekindle a relationship that he said no to before? How do you rework that?
Well, when you recruit, you build relationships with high school players, and a lot of times, you never know, especially the one-time transfer and everything. You never know what's going to happen. And if you develop a true relationship where it's not superficial and just like business-wise, then when it comes back around the second time, they remember that. And so there's a couple that, like I said, I recruited before, and I think that really helps you. A lot of these college coaches look at it as business, but I really enjoy the process of getting to know, the young men and the families.
You guys had multiple offensive line transfers. I know you lost some major ones too. So how important was recruiting that position in the portal?
Yeah, it was very important. It was one of our priorities. You look and like I said, we want to build this thing the right way with high school guys. But when you lose someone, you want to replace them with guys that are experienced. And so that really is what we did. I thought Coach Ham did a great job with the transfer offensive linemen. With that, we'll still, be looking at some positions moving forward, in the spring, but offensive line we feel great about.
You spend a lot of time around transfers and recruits. What would you say, in your opinion, is the reason that they choose UCF over other schools?
Well, this is a great place. Like I said earlier, transfers that come in here have been ultra successful. And even the last few years I've been here, that's been, even before I got here, this is a great school. And so, we'll continue to do that. I mean, obviously, the NIL is going to be real important, more important moving forward than ever before, and that's the reason I kind of said that at the end. But this is a great spot.
I guess the transfer process, it can be hit and miss at times, but how do you guys handle it? Is how quickly do you get involved in identifying the student athletes, and also, are you the first one to reach out to contact them, or is it position coaches? What's the process?
Yeah, I think most coaches are learning right now at the new age of college football and the transfer portal. Everything happens quick. You've got to make very quick decisions. You see somebody go in the portal, I mean, you got to evaluate their film. You've got to go through the process and do your best on developing a relationship, get to know them. But everything's sped up. So it's a challenge. I mean, there's no doubt about that, but we're real blessed. And we're also looking for the right type fit as a person, not just the player. And so, and I think you'll see that in the guys that you'll hear from today, and also here in a couple of weeks, we'll get the rest up in front of you also.
You've been talking about building the roster for this move to the Big 12. You just said you have the talent to compete. How would you evaluate the depth of the roster?
Yeah, well, that's what we're still working on. It's great for us. I feel really good about where we're at going this spring. And then you get to evaluate everything, and you know for sure exactly what you have or what you need and all that. And so we'll reevaluate after the spring. But like I said, right now with the guys we have in our team room, we feel really good about the talent level that we have.
I know you and Terry are now kind of publicly endorsing and encouraging donations to the kingdom. Is that an education process? A lot of things that you didn't really have to worry about 2 or 3 years ago,
Right.
it's totally different now.
Yeah, even probably 2 or 3 months ago, possibly. You know, it's just a new age of college football. It's a new normal, and it's just part of keeping your top players, you know, that you don't want to lose. And so, you know, I think you just said it's about educating our fan base, educating our donors of the new age of college football, keeping our best players here. And if we're going to continue to recruit a high level or even take it up a notch, then that's going to be a big part moving forward.
Gus, since we last spoke, Justin Hodges was arrested. I know he's no longer with the football team, but just what's your comment on that situation?
Yeah, he's no longer with us. So we'll talk about the guys that are.
You guys should talk, you just mentioned a little bit NIL. I know the NCAA is, you know, talking about beefing up its NIL infractions, adding more staff, stuff like that. How difficult is the battle in front when it comes down to NIL when you're competing in recruiting circles and with the transfer portal as well?
Yeah. What's the question?
I'm sorry, that was a long-winded question. The NCAA is going to beef up NIL infractions.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good thing.
Okay, that basically
That's a
is
good thing.
That's a good thing. Okay, I just want to ask how it's a difficult you know.
It's a free-for-all.
Okay.
It's a free-for-all right now.
How many spots do you have left if you dip back into that transfer portal?
We're good now. Like I said, we're gonna go through spring. We'll reevaluate where we're at, and you know there may be some positions that we need to shore up.
How do you like the makeup of the inaugural Big 12 schedule now that you get I know you've known opponents, but now you see how it
Yeah.
plays out?
Yeah, I like the way it sets up. You know, with the home and the way. I like where our off date is. I mean, obviously we're going on the road for five games, and you're at home for 4. But I guess that's what you expect. I guess when you're the new kid on the block. But you know, and then of course you add Boise State on the road. That's no treat either. So it's a real schedule. There's no doubt. But like I said, our players and our coaches are excited about it.
Coach, kind of piggybacking off of that one right there, about the Big 12, just kind of talk a little bit about, did you expect to have certain games where there are games that you might have wanted for your team, and where do you see your team right now going into that?
Yeah, no, really, my expectations, I really didn't have any. I mean, from a head coach's standpoint, you always look at home and away. I mean, that's really the big thing for me. There's quality teams. I mean, there's quality teams throughout the Big 12, so it's not like, oh, we wish we would have got them, we didn't get them. They're all quality teams. You got to play good football to win, especially on the road, and so I didn't have any expectations with that.
I know all these guys except for Drake Metcalf are here right now and going through workouts. How important is this time period, just these off-season workouts? We're going to get into spring ball pretty soon. How important is that for these guys to get ready for the first Big 12 season?
Yeah, that's what we're doing right now. They're working out with Coach Dawson, you know, team building and working out and developing that foundation. The good thing is we're not starting spring until after spring break. So we have a lot of time to kind of team build, you know, work out with Coach Dawson, work with our coaches 2 hours a week. And then, of course, obviously 2 new coordinators gives us a little bit of extra time to get ready for spring ball, you know, after spring break.
How has the move to the Big 12 influenced how recruiting has gone?
You know, I'm going to bet there's a handful of guys that if we weren't going to the Big 12 that didn't sign with us. I'm going to bet that's fair to say. So each class, I think we've been here, I think we've kind of went up a notch. We'll continue to do that. Like I said, the big thing is, you know, the collective moving forward with that.
With the announcement of Tom Brady retiring officially today, what are your thoughts about his contribution to the game?
I mean, I guess he's the best to ever do it. I mean, it's hard to argue that. I mean, I've enjoyed watching him and, you know, have a lot of respect for him. And, you know, I mean, he's brought a lot to the game and one of the icons. And so I hate to see him go, to be honest with you.
You talked about team building with this influx of transfers. How much more work do you have to do on that chemistry and that camaraderie?
Yeah, I mean, I said that last year, I think that's a challenge for every coach now. Because you're bringing in new people and you've got your standard and everything that goes with it. And the challenge is everybody meet that standard, everybody on the same page moving forward. And, you know, that's the head coach's responsibility. And we've got a good plan for that. And like I said earlier, like the type of young men we brought in, they're men of character. And, you know, they're really talented football players and they want to win. And so that makes my job easier.
What does Ernie Sims bring to your coaching staff?
Yeah, Ernie, of course, you know, what was he, the #1 overall player in the country as a high school, so he can relate to the top guys. He was a top 10 draft pick, played in the NFL, and he's a super person. So, you know, he's got that personality that, you know, he lights up a room. So, you know, he's one of the guys that he's a superstar in the making. Everybody knows it. You can be around him for about 2 minutes and you see that. So our linebackers are in really good hands.
Coach Hinshaw's only been on the job a couple of weeks, but how have you seen him work to transform the playbook and other things?
Yeah, Coach Hinshaw, first of all, like I said, man, he is just a worker. He loves this place. You can just kind of feel it, and he's got off to a great start. He's a relationship guy. He's met with every offensive player. I mean, he's just, you know, he's hit the ground running, and he's done a good job recruiting too.
How do you plan to split time with John Rice Pullman between baseball and football?
Yeah, John Rice is going to go through most of spring. We're still kind of working through that, but he's committed to doing that, and you know, we're committed to kind of making that work. But I expect him to be a part of most or all of spring.
Do you like the prime time Friday night spring game?
Yeah, how about you? Do you
I like it. It's better than
yeah,
100
well, you know
degrees.
what? Like, it was noon the last 2 years. It's 90 degrees. It was smoking hot out there, and I was thinking, crud, we ain't doing this again. So that's how that whole thing went down. So I'm excited about Friday night. And, you know, I didn't have a clue before I got here that April 15th it'd be 90 degrees. But hey, you live and learn, and I'm excited about Friday night. And I think our players are excited about it too. All right, thank you all.
Thank you, Coach.